Language learning communities, universally toxic. That's what I'll talk about today. So the reason why I want to talk about this specific topic is because the English learning community in Japan is really toxic. It's toxic in a way that people have extremely high standards and pick each other English skills apart, you know? It's fucking pathetic. For example, when they see someone speaking English on TV, on YouTube, they put them under a microscope and start looking for their flaws and mistakes. Like, oh, he just made a mistake right there. He sounds terrible. He is not that fluent. He sucks. He has a thick Japanese accent. Like that. They leave these negative comments on YouTube and, on social media. And it makes me feel really sad. You know, in this community, you need to sound perfect to get a pass. It's so binary. Either you're perfect or you suck. There's no other options. And there's a lot of intermediate gatekeepers who are poisoning this community and making English learning so unenjoyable. And I think they're one of the reasons why we can't enjoy this process and English learning as a whole. They're the cancer. And you know, like who gives a shit about other people's English skills, right? Because I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about how they like sound, how well they speak English, because I'm minding my business. I'm busy with my stuff, you know? Besides, this community should be supportive of each other. We should be helping each other improve, right? We should be encourage each other to uh put ourselves out there and, make mistakes in public because that's what it takes to learn a second language and improve, right? But we are just tearing each other apart and judging each other, It's so toxic. And it got me thinking what's going on in other countries' language learning communities. Like I'm wondering what's happening in the Spanish learning community in America, in the Japanese learning community in Korea, for example, are they also dragging each other down or be supportive of each other? Are they healthy? I'm just wondering about it. And I know there are assholes in every country, but I hope it's not as toxic and dysfunctional as Japan. Because in Japan, it's so deep-rooted. It's happening on a systemic and cultural level, all the way down to elementary school. Like, so in English class in Japan, whether it's elementary, middle, or high school, there's an environment where people get laughed at for having good pronunciation in English. Like, the better you sound, the funnier it gets. They laugh at you for reading an English sentence well, basically. So kids are discouraged from trying in English class. And this is also like one of the biggest reasons why we suck at English as a country. This is, not enjoyable as a subject and as an endeavor, so we are discouraged, right, on a systemic level. And this is all coming from this Japanese specific sheep mentality where it's not Japanese specific, but this sheep mentality where people following the herd and imitating what people are doing to not stand out in the crowd, you know? I remember doing it back in the day when I was in middle school because I didn't give a shit about English, and I was just going through the motions and following what my classmates were doing, which is to speak English with a thick Japanese accent. I didn't want to stand out in the crowd, you know, because I didn't give a shit. But in retrospect, I should have been trying when I was younger because, kids can tap into this incredible ability where they can imitate, like copy the sounds of second languages much better than adults, right? They can tap into both hemispheres in terms of language learning. So I should have tried harder back in the day, but I didn't. The culture is depriving kids of this opportunity. So, it's dysfunctional, right? And it's toxic at both ends. Like on the lower level where kids don't give a shit, they are discouraged from trying, which makes them dislike English, right? And on higher level where people actually give a shit, their English is getting picked apart and criticized constantly. So it's just unenjoyable across the board, you know? And it makes me sad as an English learner, right? Because we need to create an environment where people are encouraged to put themselves out there and make mistakes because that's what it takes to learn and improve your second language. You need to make mistakes in public, in high stakes situations because those mistakes stick in your mind, right? So, you know, yeah, this is a reason why we suck at English, maybe. Also, um, not to mention Japanese has no overlap with English as a language. I mean, except some loan words, I guess. So, yeah, it makes me feel really like frustrated to see what's going on in the Japanese English learning community. Yeah, it's so toxic and dysfunctional. And I'm wondering, yeah, like I said, what's happening in other country language learning communities? Are they healthy? Are they supportive of each other? So let me know in the comments. So yeah, that's gonna be it. Thanks for watching. Bye.